Okay, so this is all about Locator today. So this is a Yahoo screen, and see one thing. What is the problem with Firefox? You must be heard about that. Firebug and Firepath is only available on Firefox. It's a good tool. It's a good add-on. It's a good plugin. But the problem is that sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not available. And I really don't prefer to use Firebug and Firepath. Okay, because sometimes it's not giving you the accurate XPath or maybe accurate properties. Some properties are sometimes hidden as compared to Chrome driver. I mean, as compared to Chrome browser. And the recent update is that on Firebug and Firepath, with respect to Firefox, sometimes it's okay deprecated, and sometimes with the latest version or maybe some older version, they are saying that okay, you can still download Firebug and Firepath. So there are a lot of confusion between what's happening Firebug and Firepath. So that's why I don't prefer to use Firebug and Firepath. Okay, I would advise you one thing in industry that okay, most of the people, 99% of the people, they are using Chrome browser and they are using developer tools in Chrome browser to inspect the element. And there are some good things that okay, you can create your XPath and you can validate it. Okay, so I'll show you those tricks that how to validate your XPath immediately, okay, in Chrome and developer tools. And the same XPath or same ID or other things you can use, okay, in your code. So today I'm going to cover, let me open Eclipse. And inside the same package, I'm going to create a new class. So let's see, my class name is locator concept. Okay, going to select the main method and click on finish. And as we know that we have to first launch the browser, and that we have already covered. We have to define these two properties. I mean, this one property that webdriver.chrome.driver in the earlier session we have already defined. So every time you just need to copy paste that system.set property, okay, webdriver.chrome.driver, and then you have to use okay Chrome driver browser, webdriver driver equal to new Chrome driver like this. Okay, this is a standard process for all the cases, all the use cases. Now let's see, I'm going to work upon some site. So I'll be using driver.get and okay. So this is a site. What I'll do, simple, I'll use mail.yahoo.com. Okay, so it's directly coming over here, login.yahoo.com. Okay, if you enter this URL login.yahoo.com, it will come on this page. So this is a perfect URL for me. Okay, let me. Okay, login.yahoo.com. Now after that, what we have to do, you can check a couple of things over here. That let's see, I have to enter something over here in my username, okay, or maybe email ID. I'm giving some very basic example first, and then we will move to some complex examples. So what we have to do, guys, so first time you will see this particular page like this. What you have to do, simple, just right click over here and go to inspect. Okay, you will see that okay, this particular element is inspected and it's highlighted by this particular blue line. This entire thing is called HTML DOM. Can you see that? The first type is written that okay, doc type is HTML. This is called DOM HTML, document object model. Okay, so each and every page is having its own HTML DOM. Okay, HTML DOM means what exactly the HTML page is. What is the HTML source code they have written. Okay, so browser will read, browser will perform the action. Okay, or browser will define all the UI properties and everything on the basis of HTML DOM. And Selenium concept is also same thing, that Selenium will try to see that particular locator or see that particular object inside the object DOM. Okay, inside this particular HTML DOM. And HTML DOM is what? HTML DOM is nothing, just a document. It's a HTML document. That's it. Okay. So in HTML document or HTML DOM, the proper language we say, okay, inside the HTML DOM. At the time of interview, also you have to use the same language, that I'm going to locate that element inside the HTML DOM. Okay. So if you see, if you spy this particular thing, you will get this line input. So you can see one Angular tag is there. After that, input is written. So what do you mean by input? Input means this is the tag. This is the HTML tag. Okay, so UI developers, okay, they have defined some properties and they have written some HTML code for this particular field, for email field. Okay, and they have written that this is input type. Okay, input means HTML tag. So whatever you can see immediately after tag, this Angular tag, this is called HTML tag. And after that, we have properties or attributes and their value. So class attribute, its value. Type attribute, its value. Name attribute is equal to username, its value. ID is equal to this. This is the ID is the attribute and this is the value. So each and every object, okay, is having some properties. Now, if you see over here, there are so many objects are there, right? This is the image. This is again the image. This is image. This is a text is written. This is a text field. This is a button. This is a checkbox. This is a link. Okay. In Selenium language, in WebDriver language, we say each and everything is called as web element or web object or web component. But we use web element. Okay. You can say these are the web objects. Why web objects? Because these are available on the web page. So that's why this is called web object. But we call in Selenium language, we call web element. Okay. So there are so many web elements are available. Okay, and you can spy any element and each and every element is having its own HTML tag, just like this email field is having its own HTML tag is input, and number of properties or attributes. So these are the properties: class, type, name, ID. Okay, number of, okay, attributes are available and the properties are available. Okay, and each and every property or attribute is having its own value. Okay, so let's see if you spy next button. So simple, you can spy next button also. Again, next button is type of input type. ID is equal to login sign in. Name is equal to sign in. Type equal to submit, like this. Okay, now the thing is you can use any of the properties, but some properties are totally waste. We don't use, we don't bother about it. Okay, let's see this tab index equal to 2. Okay, we don't use tab index. Okay, so tab index is not useful for us. So some properties are there that we are not bothered about it, but you never know that, okay, in case like nothing is available, in that case we can use that particular property. Okay. So now what I want to enter something over here inside the enter your email field. So how to enter? So to enter these things, we have to interact with the browser and we have to interact with this particular HTML DOM and we have to tell that, okay, this is the value I want to pass. So how to do that? So yesterday we have seen that, okay, how to launch the browser, how to get the title, how to get the URL. So we are performing the action on the browser specific thing, that URL, current URL, page source, right? Getting the title, but nothing related to web elements. Okay. So today I'm going to cover web element part, how to perform, how to interact with web elements. Okay. So let's do it. Okay. So this is a URL driver.get login.yahoo.com. Quickly, first we will always check, okay, after entering the URL, quickly we have to check that, okay, Chrome is able to launch this URL or not. So simple right click and run it. And
Hi
immediately,
Naveen, quick question. Does this, so you mean attribute, object, element, all are referring to the same thing?
no, no, no. Element, object, and component are same thing, and attributes are part of that particular element. Attributes means the property of that particular element.
Okay.
Okay. So quickly I'll check, I'll test this, okay. Chrome is able to launch this particular site or not. So quickly run it and we'll see. Yes, it is launching properly and it will quit the browser once. Yeah, closed. Okay. So driver.quit is closing the browser. So what I'm gonna comment this line. I don't want to quit now. Now see it carefully. I want to interact with the first name. Okay, sorry, enter your email. This particular value I have to enter. So to enter some specific value or to interact with any element, we have one method in WebDriver that is called driver dot find element. Okay, not elements, find element. Okay, driver dot find element. Okay, and then we have one class by class. So B capital by dot. Okay, so there are different locators. Which strategy you want to use? Okay, so I'll check first that, okay, do we have any other property that, yes, we have name and we have ID. And so there are different 8 types of locators inside the by class. Either you can use ID, CSS selector, class, name, link text, partial link text, tag name, okay, and XPath. So out of them, you can use any of them. So let's see, first we will cover the first type of locator is ID. Okay, so how to use ID? So inside the by class, the moment you write by dot ID, see this is the option, and what is the value of ID? Okay, what is the value of ID? So we have to check what is the value of ID. If ID is available, then only we can use it there by dot ID, because ID is available. That ID is login username. So just copy this ID and then paste it over here. Okay. So driver dot find element by dot ID login username. Now there are two ways of performing action. Okay. The first option is that the mouse over on find element, it says that, okay, it's returning web element object. Okay. So you can do one thing like this, write the statement and you can store in some web element. Let's see, my web element is, so web element is a class already available in Selenium WebDriver. You can write like this, web element email is equal to this, and this web element you have to import it from Selenium. Okay, so web element email is equal to driver.find element by .id, and you can give any element. Okay, and then you can perform action on this particular element, that email dot what you want to do, email dot send keys, and my send keys is, let's see, test, okay, admin at the rate yahoo.com. Okay, so this is a one of the way that you can use that. First, store that particular element in web element, give some name according to the object, like the object name is email, and email dot send keys you have to perform and pass the value. Another way is that if you don't want to use this particular method, simple, you can use driver dot find element by dot xpath dot send keys directly. You can use like this also. Okay, so this is the first way. Okay, you can store inside the web element, and then you can use like this also. So instead of writing this, you are writing two steps unnecessary, that is storing inside the web element and then writing over here. So but one advantage is there with this first approach. If you want to perform some other action also later on, okay, with this particular email, so again you don't need to write this particular line again and again, that, okay, dot send keys test admin at yahoo.com, and then driver dot find element by dot xpath again naveen at the rate yahoo.com. You can perform the same action on email. So this is just a variable you have created, and you can perform okay, action throughout your program. Okay, so this is a better approach, although it's covering two lines. Okay, just like in page object model, we define all the web elements over there, okay, on the page, and then you can perform number of actions on the same element. Same thing on email, email.send keys, naveen@yahoo.com, email.send keys, akbar@yahoo.com, like that. Okay, but in very straightforward approach, you know that okay, it will not be used. Okay, it's only one time. In that case, you can use this approach also. Both are same thing. Okay, so let's use the first approach, and I'm going to comment this particular line so that for your reference point of view, and I'll run this program and let's see it is entering send keys or not. So always remember it's an interview question, that what is a return type of find element, driver dot find element. Okay, especially for freshers or 1 or 2 year experience guy. Okay, they might ask you that okay, what is a return type of find element. Most of the people, they don't, I mean, they are not aware about it, they don't give proper answer. The find element return type is web element. This particular method will return web element object. Okay, that's why we are storing inside the web element. Okay, and web element is not a class, sorry, web element is an interface. You can see that, you can mouse over. Okay, and it's saying it's an interface. I means interface. Okay, so web element is an interface. It will return web element reference. So we have to store inside the web element reference and then simple email dot send keys and do that. Okay, so return type of find element is web element. Now let's run this program and let's see what happens. Okay, so it's launching and entering test admin at the yahoo.com immediately. Okay, very simple. Let's close the browser manually. Okay, now I have to enter, I have to click on this next button also. So I'll spy this. Oh, and I know that again this is the input and ID is available. So immediately I'll take this particular ID. Okay, and again I'll store like this, web element next underscore button, like I'll write like this, is equal to driver dot find element by dot ID, and ID should be in string, so write it in double quotes and simple, and I'll perform next underscore button dot click. Why I'm using click? Because this is the next button. I cannot perform send keys because on a button I cannot enter the value, right? Obviously I have to click on it. So there are two standard methods, send keys method and click method. So send keys method are used to provide the value, to enter the value in a particular text field. Okay, click method is like for links, for checkboxes, for radio button. Okay, for buttons we have to use click option. Okay, so next button dot click is happening like this. Now let's see it is working or not. See, it's entering, although it's wrong username. Okay, so it's entering and clicking on next, and that's why we are getting this particular message. Okay, let me close the browser. So this is the ID. You can use ID. If ID is available, the first preference always given to ID, guys, because ID is unique. Okay, and ID is very fast as compared to other locators. So if ID is available, in that case you have to use ID. Okay, now the second option is name. How to use name? Okay, so what I'll do, I'll comment this particular, these lines. Okay, and then I'll be using name now. So how to use name? Simple, driver dot find element by dot. The moment you write dot by dot, see, you will see 8 locators, and these 8 locators should be, okay, you should remember always, guys, it should be on your fingertips, that okay, CSS class name, CSS selector, ID, link text, name, partial link text, tag name, and XPath. These are the different 8 locators are available. 100% they will ask you this question if you're going for Selenium interview. Tell me what are the different locators. So what is the perfect answer? In Selenium WebDriver, there are 8 different locators are available in by class. Please tell this, in by class. Where exactly it's available? Inside the by class. Okay, in by class there are 8 locators are available. That's why we are accessing through by class and B capital. So CSS selector, class name, ID, link text, name, partial link text, tag name, and XPath. So you have to just remember these 8 locators. Don't say that okay, only 4 or 5 or only 1 or 2. You have to tell full 8 locators, complete 8 all the 8 locators you have to tell. Okay. So the second option I'll be selecting by dot name, and name is also a string. So what is a name? So if I spy again this particular username or email, I can see that name is there, name equal to username, and name is always name is also unique. So name is also a very good locator. Name, okay, and dot. So simple. I'll be using inside the web element. Sorry, so email and email dot again send keys. I'm going to use test admin@yahoo.com. Okay, and same thing I'll be using for web element next underscore button is equal to driver dot find element by dot name. Okay, let's see name of next button. Name is sign in, so I'll be using this sign in value. Simple, paste it over here and next button dot click. Okay, so I'm using name operation, I mean name attribute now, and let's run it. Okay, so with name also it is working perfectly. Okay, so name is also done. Now the third option I'll be using XPath. Okay, so XPath, although it's a very important topic and very wide topic, but today I'm going to cover the basics, like okay, how to, what do you mean by XPath and what is the structure of XPath. Okay, like that. So let me comment these lines we will be using XPath. So now simple, I'll be using driver dot find element by dot XPath is the method, and XPath expression you have to provide in the form of a string. Now how will you get the XPath? Okay, so I'll spy this particular, enter your email field, and you can see this is the thing. Just right click over here and go to copy and simple copy XPath, and you will see this is the XPath I'm getting. I'll just copy paste over here. Okay, and here you have to modify something. What you have to do, instead of this star means it can be any HTML tag, but we have to specify which HTML tag we are talking about. So we are talking about input. This is the input. So instead of a star, what I have to do, I have to write input. Okay, input @ID is equal to login username. Input, okay, ID is equal to login username. But in Java, if you're writing XPath and you're providing the ID value or any particular attribute value, you have to write inside the XPath with single quotes. Like this. Instead of double quotes, you have to write in single quotes. And this is a complete string, so you have to write this particular complete thing inside this double quotes only, like this. Okay, but the specific value you have to store in single quotes. So Chrome will give you with double quotes. Okay, but you have to modify and you have to change, instead of star you have to write which HTML tag. What is the HTML tag? The HTML tag is input. Okay, input ID is equal to login username, and what I want to perform send keys. So let's see, directly I can perform send keys over here. Okay, and I'll write the same thing for button also. Driver dot find element by dot XPath. Okay, XPath of that particular next button. Okay, so input ID is equal to login. I'll just again right click copy, copy XPath, simple, paste it over here, and I know that again this is input, so input, and again I'll be converting into single quote, and I know that this is click, so dot click is there. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, so XPath is also working. Okay, any doubts so far? Okay, now the thing is, out of ID, name, and XPath, which one is the best? Can anyone tell me which one is the best?
ID.
Okay,
Navin, can you repeat your question one more time, please?
yeah, so ID, name, and XPath, three locators are there. So can you tell me which one is the best and why?
If the ID is available, then probably the ID.
Why?
Because as you said, the ID is the unique.
Okay, yes. So ID, name, and XPath, if you have to use, always use ID, guys. Don't use XPath in that case. If ID is available, use ID. Straightforward, you have to use ID. But sometimes what happens in some complex applications, ID is coming in the form of dynamic ID. Sometimes you are getting login underscore username underscore 12345. Okay, in that case, this ID will not work because next time it will be 4567. Okay, so whenever you are refreshing your browser or launching the page again and again, ID is so dynamic, ID is getting changed. Okay, so in that case, ID won't work, right? In that case, you have to use XPath, and I'll tell you later how to use that. Okay, but if ID is available like this, in some cases, ID is available like this. In that case, you can use ID. But sometimes what happens that okay, ID is not available. ID attribute itself not available. Okay, in some of the application. In that case, obviously you don't have choice. Name is also there, but the problem is name. Sometimes it may be duplicate. Let's say two buttons are there, two login buttons are there. Sometimes we see that okay, some applications are there, username, password, login button on top also, and login button at the bottom also. Two times login button is there, or sign in buttons are there, or somewhere one more login page is here and sign in button is available here. This is also login button and that is also login button. It means okay, it means two login buttons are there. So in that case, two login buttons, maybe ID will be different, but name will be same, login. In that case, Selenium will be confused that it is not unique. Okay, so in that case, name can be duplicate, but 99% cases, hardly you will see duplicate elements on the basis of name. Okay, so let's see first name or last name is there. Maybe developers they have done some mistake that for first name also they have given the same name, and for last name also they have given the same name. Okay, so in that case you have to be very careful that, but name is also a very good attribute. It's very fast. ID very fast. Why? Because it directly attacking on the element or performing the action on the element on the basis of ID, and ID is okay, not ID is not duplicate, or ID is always unique. In that case, it will give you okay immediate action, immediate performance. It will perform. XPath is also very powerful, but XPath is an expression. Okay, so for XPath, it will see that okay, in the entire HTML DOM document, one input field is there where ID is equal to this. So it will try to find where exactly that particular field is available, where ID is equal to this. So that's why it becomes slow. So although you are not able to identify okay the slowness or the redundancy, why? Because we have only one line of a script. Once you have framework and once you have 10,000, 20,000 lines of code and 1,000 times you are using XPath, an unnecessary, a huge XPath you are using, in that case you will realize that, okay, your 100 test cases are getting executed in 6 hours. But if you change your locator strategy, maybe you can reduce to 4 to 5 hours or 3 to 4 hours. So performance of the script, performance of your script also matters a lot. Okay, so always use, that's why we say this is called locator strategy. Always use proper locators. Okay, so although we will be covering a separate session on XPath, don't worry about it because XPath is very huge. There's so many things in XPath. Okay, now the fourth one is CSS selector, also very powerful. So I'm going to comment these two lines. Again, I'll be using driver dot find element by dot CSS selector. Okay, and I'll check the this, right click, copy. Okay, simple. I'll be using copy selector and paste it over here. And dot send keys is the test admin@yahoo.com. Okay, and same thing for button. Quickly I'll write driver dot find element by dot CSS selector for next, and again right click, copy CSS and paste it over here, and dot send keys, sorry, not send keys, it's click. Okay, now CSS selector is CSS. Can anyone tell me what is the full form of CSS?
Cascading style sheet.
Yes.
Not cascading, it's cascaded. Okay, CSS means cascaded style sheet. So cascaded style sheet, CSS means I have this particular web page. If you define only simple HTML page, it will be very blank, like no color, nothing, it's black and white. Okay, CSS selector, or sorry, CSS will provide or will give a good look and feel that, okay, this color is coming, this next button is blue color, this icon is okay with blue color, okay, something like that. We're giving some borders or some coloring or some good alignments, everything. All these things are coming through CSS, cascaded style sheet. That's why this is called a style sheet. We are giving some styling, okay, for the web pages, and we are combining CSS selector and HTML to create the web pages. And it's not my responsibility; it's UI developer responsibility. Okay, so similarly, they have created this particular login. I mean, this particular CSS selector, one locator, and also very powerful locator. But this locator is different from XPath in terms of performance also, and in terms of syntax wise also. So what exactly CSS selector says that, okay, login username is what? Login username is the ID. If any particular locator is having ID, okay, no need to define the locator tag first of all. I'm not writing that, okay, input or something like that. You can directly write hash. Hash means ID and login username. Login sign up hash means, okay, ID, and login sign up ID value. Okay, so like that you can use. Okay, so CSS selector hash login username, okay, and CSS selector hash login sign. But I'm not a big fan of CSS selector. CSS selector sometimes won't be able to handle some complex scenarios, some complex objects won't be able to handle. But for simple objects, you can use CSS selector to improve the performance. Let's say you want to achieve some parent and child relationship, just like in XPath. Those things will be very difficult in CSS selector. I want to use two properties together in XPath. I can do that in XPath, but that thing I cannot do in CSS selector. Okay, so we will cover those things, don't worry. But CSS selector is also very powerful. Performance wise, it's really good, just like ID. Okay, so as compared to XPath, CSS selector performance wise is good. So let's run it and see it is working or not. Okay, so it's working. Okay, quickly let's move further. The fifth locator I'll use link text. So link text, guys, is only and only for links. Okay, link text is only for links. Obviously, link text it's only for link. Okay, so let's see. I want to click on this sign up link or maybe trouble signing, whatever the link is available. I'll spy this, or maybe I'll spy some other link. Let's see this sign up link, or just a minute. Let me check some other link. Help link. Okay, let's see. I want to click on this help link. Okay, so always remember links are represented by Angular tag, a tag. They will ask you what do you mean by, okay, how exactly link is represented inside the HTML DOM. So link is represented by a tag always. Okay, so it's very simple how to perform the action. So there are certain ways, but for links, if you want to use very standard format, you can use link text, right? Like this: driver dot find element again by dot link text, and the text of that particular link you have to provide. And always remember, with link, most of the time two things will be there with link. So first of all, this is a HTML tag. Immediately after the this Angular tag, we have a means Angular tag. A means a link, and this is a href property that, okay, where exactly this particular link is going, where exactly this particular link is redirecting you. So we are redirecting on this particular href page. Href page means this is the, okay, URL. The moment I click on this help icon, it will redirect to on this particular page. So you never know, it's a very dangerous, right? Using href is very dangerous. Why? Because you never know, sometimes URL got changed or something. Okay, something they have removed from here. So in that case, your, okay, locator will be disturbed, right? So never use href. Always use, if you want to use link text, use help. Can you see that this is a text? So for each and every link, text is always written. Text is always present. Okay. So this is a tag, and before closing the a tag slash a, help is written, and this is the actual, okay guys, text. Sometime what happens, let's see, help is written in capital letter, HELP in capital, but this particular text is written in small letter like this, HELP like this. So, okay, don't take capital help. Always use whatever it's written over here inside the HTML. That thing we have to use. Okay, so simple. I'll copy this, and what I have to do. This is a link, so I'll just dot click that is there, and let's run it and let's see. See, it will not perform any action until the browser is fully loaded. The page is fully loaded. Okay, and then I think it's clicking on help and it's moving to, okay, help page, Yahoo help page. You can see that. Okay, so by dot link text is there. Very simple. Simple. Use the link text. partial link text, although it's not recommended. But sometimes what happens in some application, there is a long link text is available. Okay, let's see, one paragraph is there, or sometimes one a huge string is there, a long string is there, and the complete string is a link. In that case, how will you do that? Right? So in that case, let's see. Let me spy some. Let's see, trouble sign in. Okay, so trouble sign in. This is a link text. Trouble sign in question mark. But let's see, there is a huge string. I'm facing some problem. So please help me, comma, trouble sign in. This is a link text. Okay, so I don't want to use the complete link text in my code. So you can use a partial link, but it's very dangerous. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. There is no guarantee for that. So driver.find element by dot partial link text. It means partial, only partial part. Okay, you have to provide. Let's see, I'm passing only trouble. Okay, trouble I'm passing. Only partial part. Instead of writing trouble sign in, I'm passing only trouble dot click. Okay, let me comment these two lines so that. Okay, partial link trouble. Okay, so only the partial part you have to provide. But the problem is, let's see, I have trouble signing in, and one more link is there, trouble sign up or trouble register. Three links are there: trouble sign up, trouble signing in, and trouble register. And everything is started with trouble, trouble, trouble. Okay, and if you're writing partial link text trouble, in that case again it will be a confusion for Selenium. It will not, okay, it will not perform any action. It will give you error because I have three elements having, okay, three links starting with trouble only. So using partial link text with trouble will produce a duplicate locator, duplicate element. Okay, so either you define with some other thing, let's see, trouble signing in, trouble register, or trouble login. So it's up to you if you want to use trouble register. So you have to write some other sequence also. After trouble also you have to write something. But that's why people don't prefer partial. It is not recommended also. But for knowledge point of view, you must know about it. But in some, hardly you will see in enterprise application that again a huge long text is available and it's a kind of, okay, link. Okay. So if you run it, let's see it is working or not. See, now it is showing difficulty sign in. So obviously it will not. Okay. Over here, it is showing trouble signing, and here it is showing difficulty signing in. Okay. So obviously it will give you error that no such element exception. Unable to locate this particular element, partial link text selector trouble. Okay. So let's see, I'll try with difficulty. Okay. Let's see. Otherwise, we are not very much bothered about it. Let's run it again. See, for difficulty, it's working. Okay, so immediately it, okay, clicked on difficulty on this particular link. I'm not providing signing in, difficulty signing in. I'm just giving difficulty. Okay. So in that case, it will work. Partial link text also you can define like this.
Navin, quick question. For the link test, do we need to spy? Because the link name is there, we can just copy paste the link name, right?
That's why I told you, right? If it is in capital letter, so you should not believe whatever you can see over here. You should always spy.
Okay.
Okay. Now the seventh is class name. Okay. Again, not recommended. Why? Again, because class name is not at all unique attribute. Class means this blue color is coming because of class. Okay. Some, see, This is the class they are using. This is the class they are using, Orco button primary Orco button, right? Orco button primary Orco button. This is a CSS class name. Okay, just because of this class, this blue color is coming. Maybe there is another button is there, let's see, login button, or maybe sign in button, or sign up button, or register button having the blue color will be having the same class name. So using the class is not a good idea. Okay, using a class is not a good idea. So you can use class also, but if class is unique, then only we should use it. So let's see, for this class is equal to phone number, and let's see it is working or not. And there is no guarantee also it will work, because there are some hidden elements also having the same class. Okay, so I'll use driver dot, I'll give you an example. So we will never use class name, guys. Okay, driver dot find element by dot class name phone number, and dot, let's see, send keys. Okay, test@yahoo.com. And see, it's so confusing. This is enter your email, and the class name they have given phone number. And let's see, another field is their phone number and having the same class name phone number. Let's see, mobile number or some telephone number is there having the same class name. So class name is very, very dangerous, guys. There are 99% chances are there it will be a duplicate. Okay, so class name, in case of emergency, then only we have to use it. Let's see it is working or not. Let me comment this, and let's see. See, it is working, test@yahoo.com. Okay, but again, the first problem is there is no guarantee that okay it's unique. So I will write not recommended, because it's not unique. It's not like ID or name. Okay, we have 8 locator that is called tag name. I'll cover later. Okay, tag name I'll cover later, guys. With find elements, I'll tell you later. So these are the 8 different locators are available in Selenium, like this. Okay, always remember ID, name, XPath, CSS selector, link text, partial link text, class name, and tag name. Sequence doesn't matter how exactly you're going to remember these in a sequence matter or whatever, but at a time of interview, you have to tell all these 8 locators, guys. Which one is the best? The first preference will be given to this guy first. Okay, name is also very good, so second preference I can give to name. XPath also very good, so third preference I'll be giving to this. CSS selector, second position, and maybe sometime third position, like this. Link text I'll give at fourth position, but it's only and only for links. So if you're talking about for okay links and it is unique, I'll be using link text also. Otherwise, I mean, as compared to other things, you should not give fourth position. It's only and only for links actually. Okay, so either you can use XPath for that, and you can use link text for that. So I'm not giving any ranking for link text and partial link text. Last name is at the last position, that is your fourth position or maybe fifth position. And tag name is different thing. Tag name is a different purpose. On the basis of tag, okay, we are performing some different thing. Okay, so that tag name is not considered with this particular sequence or with this particular priority. Any confusion? Anisha, you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
You getting it? This is your first session.
Yeah.
Okay. Felix, I think Felix is sleeping. Okay, any doubt, guys? It's clear?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought that I put on unmute, but it didn't go through. Naveen, I just have a quick question. You went through with those steps, but just want to clarify it for myself, double check it. Whenever you are working first, whenever personally you're working on the office atmosphere, and we'll assume that you are scripting, and so the first thing will be to check the ID according to your opinion.
Yeah.
And if the ID is not like the as you explained, if the ID it doesn't exist there, then we're gonna go with the customized expenses then.
Okay. Now see, I'll tell you my preference. Okay, this is a standard preference in the industry. I'll tell you one thing: go with XPath. It's very powerful. Go with XPath. If you're using customized XPath like this, it's my favorite one. You will, if you are expert in XPath, guys, you are expert in Selenium. You can do anything in Selenium. That's my personal choice. In fact, sometimes I ignore ID also. Okay, 99% cases, in my case, whenever I script, whenever I write the code, I use XPath. But in a smart way, not like absolute XPath or some long hierarchy based XPath I'm writing. It's not like that. I'll tell you those tricks later on when we cover the XPath session. But XPath, the first preference I'll give, because you're asking to me, because what if I'm writing, then which one my preference? And then some people they use ID also. Okay, but if you are good in XPath, immediately you can convert that XPath in a very robust way. And for complex thing also, okay, easily you can manipulate your XPath.
And I mean, so in industry, 90% of the time, this locator's job get done by using ID, and but your preferred way is XPath. That's what you're saying?
I'm not saying 90%. I don't want to give any number, 90% or 80%. It is recommended, okay, as per the rule, ID should be used because ID is unique. But still, I would prefer to use XPath like this because sometimes what happens if ID name is getting changed or something like that, okay, and if you don't want to use ID in your XPath, still you can use XPath. Okay, but if you're writing a proper customized XPath or proper relative XPath, in that case, you can really improve the XPath. Now XPath will behave just like an ID. Okay, so here and there,
Naveen,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, another question. If sometimes the website has ongoing UI changes, so I mean they are redesigning or they're changing the colors, or so in that kind of situation, the XPath has better survival rate as compared to the ID.
See, ID is not going to change. Okay,
Okay.
maybe they will change the alignment or they may be some other properties like type or name property they will change. Let's say tomorrow your product manager says that okay, no, I don't like this name. Just change it to instead of sign in, write login. It doesn't look good on my site. Okay, instead of trouble signing, use difficulty signing, whatever. So those kind of properties are getting changed, or maybe some elements got deleted. In that case, you don't have any choice. In that case, XPath and nothing will work. You have to change. You have to delete that element. If element is itself getting deleted, but some other properties are getting changed. ID is dynamic. First of all, if ID is dynamic, we should not use ID. Obviously, you cannot use ID. And some of the cases you will find ID is so dynamic. Let's see, you are getting login underscore 123. Next time you're getting login underscore 456, 789. Every time you're getting some random number in ID. So obviously you don't have any choice with X, okay, other than XPath. So in that case, XPath you have to use. Okay, but I would advise you guys one thing. If ID is available and you see that ID is unique, Straightforward, use ID. If ID is dynamic, then you have to use XPath. But how to use, I'll tell you later, not today. Because if you're using ID with dynamic XPath like this, input ID is equal to login 123. In that case, XPath also won't work. Right? So we have to use some other methods in XPath like starts with, ends with, such kind of method. Okay. XPath library we have to use for that purpose. Is this clear? Okay. So yeah. So that's all for today because another topic I don't want to cover because today just practice and check this free CRM. What happened to free CRM? It's up or not? Cool. It's up now. Maybe. So if you see that username inspect, so see, I think ID is not available here. Okay.
Naveen,
Yeah.
can you please spy on the login button because I had some problem with that.
Hmm. So type equal to submit, value equal to login, class equal to this.
So when I gave the XPath or something,
It will
it's
not work.
giving error.
Yeah, it will not work because recently they have given this stupid pop-up. Okay, can you see that? Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So,
I was
yeah, most of the people asking the same question through my YouTube videos that at page object model we are using, we are clicking on login. I think just a minute, wait, just a minute.